The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 28th day of November, 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by MediQuals, One Communications, and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman, and he's Philip Trott. Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Phil, it's been a long break from doing live shows, man. How you doing?
I know, man. I'm rusty, man. I'm getting back into it. Yeah.
Rusty.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting, man, is
What's that,
I didn't have a chance to get rusty because I thought I was going to be able to sleep in and enjoy some days off, but there's a World Cup taking place. It's just not right.
And the thing is, we're lucky because it starts for us. It starts at 6.
Yeah.
For you, it starts at 5.
Yeah, it's 5 a.m. over here, folks. So I really didn't get to sleep in, but good morning to you as well, Karen Simmons. I'm happy to be back. It's a lot that's happened since we last aired live on Wednesday, the 23rd, 24th, 22nd, whatever that date was. But greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we discuss the car tint situation and, the license plate situation. Before focusing on the fisherman situation in Bermuda. So a lot to discuss. The daily play is more holiday trivia today. So let's see if Phil can keep that streak going. Sherry had a good week last week. I mean, it was short, so we're not going to give her too much credit. And Sancha, I think Sancha made out okay with the holiday trivia so far, but we have a lot to talk about, and I don't want to waste time. I want to get right into it, folks. For those of you who don't know, well, most of you in Bermuda do know that Bermudians are not too happy, Phil, seems, with the car tint and license plate situation. And let me just read from Bermuda. So titled Ministry Changes to Car Window Tint Rules. So the Ministry of Tourism Development and Transport advised on recent amendments to regulations concerning window tint on private motor cars, saying that the specifications are forward passenger window and driver side window not less than 35%, and rear passenger windows not less than 24% when measured perpendicular to the surface by an approved instrument, blah, 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 blah. Basically, it's generally understood and accepted that tinted windows in vehicles provide several benefits. That tint can reduce the ultraviolet light, heat, and glare in the sun, assist with the performance and efficiency of the air conditioning system, reduce the amount of fuel required to operate the vehicle, thus having a knock-on effect with our carbon footprint. So the effective date for the amendment apparently was 2015, but obviously people are upset. You saw people on social media last week complaining that, on Monday, they're letting us know that we have a 4-day grace period. How are we supposed to get the tint off in that short period? The question of the morning, and let me just go to the license plate as well. So this is from the Royal Gazette. Fines for illegal license plates increased from $25 to $500. Basically, it says here, police officers said, had begun issuing drivers farm breaking the new rules rather than hitting them with a full penalty. So they'll be issuing warnings to drivers. That's what it was said last week. So it's a Garage Licensing Act of 2022, which came into force on November 4th, was passed. The Traffic Offenses Penalty Act 1976 was also amended, increasing the penalty from $25 for non-compliant plates to $500 plates. So obviously, people have a lot of issues with what's going on here. Question of the morning is basically, what concerns you most about the car tint and license plate laws being enforced? Is it the fine number? Is it that you think there are more important things to, worry about? Like I've seen it all. And before we get into it, Phil, I sent you a text last night, and basically what I sent Phil was there seems to be a petition going around, and the petition basically it says revise the fines and layouts for license plates and tint levels. And the petition, according to right now, has 745 46 have signed it, right? I'll try to read this. It says, we all know Bermuda is in the red, but seriously, why fine us to get a bit of money in the government pockets? So close to Christmas and people are penny pinching now. Duty, and tax on sugar and increases in health insurance because the government wants to charge insurance companies to operate. So that is added on us too. Now, license plates and tint fines possibly exceeding $3,000. We are on the brink of failure as a country, and we are being squeezed even more to solve massive overspending and borrowing from any country that will lend us money. The hope of owning a home in our beautiful country is an impossible dream, and people need to enjoy some joy of home ownership, something for themselves. Our cars are so restrictive, but we still have such pride of ownership, and we love our vehicles. We know we pay more for the same car than anywhere else in the world. We pay more fuel, food, chocolate, even bread than anywhere in the world. We are being bled at every point. Your weekly pay doesn't go far anymore, let alone a future. We must start here for change. Thank you so much for reading my ramble, but I love my country, my heritage, my people. BB, Brian Bennett. So there's a petition. There are people complaining, not complaining. I don't think it's complaining. People with concerns who are expressing their concerns publicly. The question of the morning, folks, is very simple. What concerns you most about the car tint and license plate laws being enforced?
I think for me, I think well, first of all, I think the fines are going up because the fines before weren't doing nothing. Because $25, I'm paying a couple $100 to put tint on. I'll pay $4.25 or whatever the case.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like, so the fines weren't doing anything before. I don't. My concern is that I haven't heard it specified to my satisfaction why the tint is a problem. I can't see that it causes accidents. I can't see that. I don't see the point of, so like I saw some one thing I did see is, it prevents you from seeing into the other person and seeing if they're paying attention to the road or whatever. And I'm like, that's not how I drive. I don't look to see if the other driver's looking at what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So I just don't see the point of the tint. I can see the point of saying, like, you can't have blacked out limo tint, but I like, to say you can have like 10% tint or whatever, I can't remember how they meant it. I don't get the point of it. I see the point with the license plates, because those don't necessarily provide any benefit to protection of your car or reduce fuel or whatever other stuff that people mention with the tint. And even if I looked at license plates, like in the States, they can design the license plate a whole lot, but if you look at the letters themselves, they're pretty standard. It's pretty like a tall, thin font, and it's not. You can't really get too crazy with the letters themselves.
But I guess back to the question though, what concerns you most about it though? Like what?
My concern is why do we have these restrictions in the first place? You know what I mean? Like I just don't see the point. I see the point with the license plate. I don't see the point with the tint.
And you make a point. I mean, I don't understand it honestly. As long as a license plate's legible, I would be for it. But I understand that there needs to be some, and the way governance works is there has to be some consistency. This is what the writing or font needs to be. It's like a company, right? A company uses a certain font all the time. I just think, being in Florida, right? Florida is very different from northern states. Why? Because, you can have dark tint here because of those, things you spoke about. It's much hotter here, right? It actually helps keep the car cool. I understand that the police may have concerns that, well, no, we're unable to see in vehicles. We need to be able to see in vehicles, right? Ask people to wind down. Now, is it a case, no, we need to see in the car before we have to ask them to wind down for our safety? I think what concerns me most about it is you mentioned that the fine, $25, is not much. Like, people will pay that. So obviously losing 500 is more of a concern to people. It's almost like saying to me, well, a life sentence is not working. It's not deterring these guys from murder. Let's bring the death penalty.
Death penalty back.
And I'm not quite sure that's the answer. I think for years, we spoke about the root causes, right? About many things, right? Why not focus on the companies who are offering this service? So it starts with, I'm sure Tint's not made in Bermuda. I could be wrong, right? So it would have to be imported.
You have to import it, yeah.
So if Tint is imported, let's start there, where companies can't import Tint at a certain level. Now, we all have dealt with customs, how long they take. Well, make customs get out their measurement and check that tint to see if it's even legal to be bought on an island, right? Let's start there. Because I don't love the approach of the punishment after. Let's address the root, where it's coming from. So once we get there, we then don't have it in the hands of people who are selling something that they shouldn't, right? We don't have some people, and then we don't then have people purchasing something that they shouldn't. So for me, I don't want to look at the fines or the punishment. I want to look at, let's go back a few steps and say, hold on, who's making these license plates? Who's putting this tint on? That, to me, is what concerns me. My concern is that, just like drugs, right? Just like drugs, and for years, we always focused on arresting the man with the spliff or, a bag of weed. But folks,
that stuff's got to get here.
Lawrence Fishburne said it in Boys in the Hood. He told us, we don't own the airplanes. We don't control that big stuff. So how would the drugs get in here? That's where I think, that's what concerns me most. Let's go to the audience. What concerns you most about the car tint and license plate laws being enforced in Bermuda? Francine in Paris, where you feel?
I think that you shouldn't have dark windows on a car. It is very dangerous, period, to, I think she means pedestrians and other human life around you. It's a danger. As a driver myself, visual is important for me to see others. I don't get it. I don't agree.
I'm gonna take a picture of my car. My car has tint on it. I think I bought it like that factory, right? Yeah. But again, in Florida, it's hot, like it's allowed, right? You would have people in the Northeast with cars with Florida license plates, right? Because you don't have to abide by the tint law up there with a different license plate. So I haven't had, to her point, Phil, I have had no issues seeing out my car with my dark tint.
Yeah, but I think she's saying as a driver, it's important for her to see other people see who's in the car, which is what I was saying before. Like, I don't see the point of that. How does seeing someone in another car help you drive safer? And as far as being a pedestrian, look both ways. You don't need to, if a car's coming, don't go. You don't need to see what the driver's doing. That's not how I drive. That's not how you're supposed to operate around roads. So I'm not, when I say I disagree with her, I still disagree that they should let you have the tint. I just don't agree with her reason. That's all.
Yeah, gotcha. Makes sense. Jennifer Butterfield says, I know they're trying to deter people, but from $25 to $500 is outrageous. and per plate at that is ridiculous.
That's all.
Sean
Okay, perfect.
DeShields, member of our community, says when one pays $1,500 per year to get a car license, why can't they put whatever license plate within reason one as they wish?
I can. Okay, let me speak to that. And I think my reason for the license plate is people will say as long as you can read it clearly. That is very subjective.
Mhm.
Like what? Because as
Legible
like
is, yeah, it is.
for me being a graphic designer, like a font has to be, a typeface has to be legible.
Mhm.
What people think is legible isn't always legible.
Yeah.
Right. So I get what they're saying. It has to look like this. I do think they can widen the spectrum of what is allowed,
Mhm.
but I think you have to settle on some type of regulation for that. The tint I'm not a fan of. I think you
Yeah.
should, you know.
No, I got you. Let's go. Monica Dunstan says some people are allowed to have darker than legal tint due to medical reasons. Tint is also used on more than car windows. So no, I don't think the business owners should be targeted. Well, just tell us what else it's used for, just for our purposes, Monica. What else could the tint be used for? And I do think you want to address the root. I disagree with you. I think we do address the root because at the end of the day, I don't believe in just focusing on the drug user when the drug dealer is the bigger problem. That's my childhood experience. I never understood that. For the life of me, don't understand that, and that's me being very personal about the end user. Sean D. Shields says this action is putting the tint and license plate design people out of business. Interesting. I mean, Phil, I didn't even consider it from that respect.
I don't want to put I won't say the name, but the person who you could see the name when you go to the petition, but I know the person who started petition is part of his business is tint and customization and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I get that. Yeah.
So and you know what? There's nothing wrong with self-interest in this. Let me be
Not
clear.
at all.
Let me
Not
be
at all.
clear. I don't see anything wrong with it. And I want to go back to Monica. This is not an attack on trying to hurt somebody's business. It's just saying if it's that much of an issue, focus on the root cause. We never do that. We legit talk in circles about punishments and fines and prison sentences and all that. We never discuss the root cause. That's my point. We have to discuss root causes at some point. It'll be much easier to solve problems if that's our focus. What concerns you most about the car tint and license plate laws being enforced in Bermuda? Jackie Eve says some bike visors are darker than some person's car tint. And Traveling Charlie also says dark visors on helmets is more important than dark car tint. So I've seen quite a few people say this. Look, I've ridden a bike in Bermuda. I prefer having a visor over my face and sunglasses. And then there are people who prefer dark visors. Now, there are people who will say, we've had murders or crimes take place where dark visors have been used. I completely understand why people will say dark visors should be more of a concern than dark tint. We have the proven things that have taken place. But what I don't want to do is say, it's happened for years. To justify weed, we tear down alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get the point, and it's valid, but I don't know. Oh well, why is weed illegal and alcohol's? I mean, the point's made, but let's focus on ours right here, and just say, you know what? We think that tint should be allowed for these reasons, and obviously, based on the comments this morning, it's very split. Some people think we should be able to see in other cars, and people should be able to see us. Other people think that should be your right to privacy. I mean, will they tell you that you can't tint your windows at your house? I don't know. They may say, well, that's not in the public. It's a private space. Folks, let's go back to the comments. Karen Simmons and Sean DeShields for you, Phil.
Karen Simmons says it's hypocritical. Pay for your car, tint, and custom license plate, and now you have to pay to remove it and pay to relicense. Sean DeShields says, which in most cases is a particular business demographic being targeted again by the Labor government. Okay, see what it's saying. Let me go to Francine Paris and David. So Francine Paris says criminals will have a field day. Hit and runs would be more difficult to see the person who is driving the vehicle.
See your point. I get you, Francine. I get you, because earlier when she said it, I didn't necessarily know what she meant. I don't know about Phil, but I am that nosy guy.
You don't look at the person, you get the license plate.
Yeah, but I'm nosy, Phil. Like it was some girls driving a car. I didn't know they were girls in the driving, but the car in front of us the other day, and they almost swerved into the median. So we got up to the stoplight. I looked over, they were both in their phones, right? Young ladies, right? So I do, honestly, because I don't have my phone up in my hand when I'm driving. Like I may stop at a stoplight and look at it, but it's a pet peeve of mine. I've said it on this show before. It's a pet peeve of mine to see people on phones distracted while they're driving, right? Now, if I'm on the phone talking, that's different. But holding it in your hand and texting, I can't send it. So whenever I'm on the highway and someone is driving stupid, I do look over and be like, yep, I knew it. And sometimes I feel like snapping a picture of them, but I can't, because then I'll be breaking my rule of having my phone. Honestly, man, it gets my you know what. Let's go through these comments so we can bring Maya in, because we have another top conversation this morning. The focus this morning, you'll see. You do not want to go anywhere. What concerns you most about the car tint and license plate laws being enforced? Traveling Trotty says, I do not have an issue with the license plate regulations. David Michael R. Wilson says, tint can conceal so much. No seatbelt, drinking while driving, texting, distracted while driving, etc. So the trouble that can arise for others, including the police, is the inability to determine what is going on. Tint isn't addicting, for starters. Well, that's her comparison with the drugs, folks. She's absolutely correct. Tattoos are, but not tint. Francine Paris says, why tint? To look good while driving. Give me one good reason for the purpose of tint. Who does benefit? Well, again, in Florida,
you mentioned some,
I did mention at the start of the show from the government itself that it reduces the ultraviolet light, heat, and glare from the sun, assists with the performance and efficiency of the air conditioning system, and it reduces the amount of fuel required to operate the vehicle, thus having a knock-on benefit with our carbon footprint. So tint actually has a lot of benefits, folks. Real quickly, go through a few more comments before you all get me in trouble with the boss. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says, the main concern is that they're using these fines to replace the TA fee. That is the main concern for me. I was wondering if people would focus on that respect. Traveling Trotty says, what do they need to address is the LED lights in cars. It is blinding at times. How about doing something about that for safety? David Michael R. Wilson says, tint can be beneficial for when the sun is angled in just a way that it is too bright. And we'll end it with Sam Cat Play says, wasn't there a case in the States where a cop was shot during a stop overseas? I believe this is why this was enforced here, piggybacking off of that. Renee Burchell says, legal tint keeps the car cooler in the summer. I agree to dark tint. And Mark Arthur C. Phillips, will round it out with you. I believe the government should find more creative ways in order to gain revenue. Folks, if you appreciated that discussion, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you like this video wherever you're watching. We're going to bring Maya in for the Daily Hour news break, and then off of her news break, you'll find out what we're going to discuss next. But it's another very important conversation that we all should be tuned into.
Good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy.
Well, good morning, Maya. How are you?
Good morning, Maya.
Really good. Rested.
Well, hey, yeah, it's been 5 days. Yeah, 5 days. Yeah, since we last saw you on here. But Maya, this is a situation. What are young people saying about this on social media? Anything?
I haven't read much, but I will actually probably post that question up. I
Mhm.
know some people who have had tint in the past, and again, it wasn't as high as a fine as it is now. So
Mhm.
interesting to see if how many people are actually dealing with it and what's been happening.
Well, going back to what Phil said earlier about $25 to 500, I'm gonna tell you what. I said it on the show before. The reason I don't speed, it's these rumors going around that I drive like a grandpa. No, I drive like I can't afford to pay fines. That's what I drive like. So I'm that I'm not got $25 to pay, let alone 500. So they spoke to me. That tint's coming off, or the car will sit right there. Now there are things I'll fight against and I'll pay for, but tint, that's not a fight. I'm interested in fighting.
It's not worth it.
For me, I've got bigger issues. I'm fighting for all of you, and tint's not to me one of those things. But Maya, what you got for us in the Daily Hour News Break today?
Well, starting out with some happy news, actually, last week on November 24th, the Hamilton Princess and Beach Club kicked off their festive season with their annual Thanksgiving dinner at the Salvation Army. So they had more than 200 traditional Thanksgiving meals all packaged and ready to go. And the Salvation Army Boost Bistro community meal. So I sent them out for an outreach to fulfill anyone who needed a meal could get one.
My hope is that there's people who needed a meal this year don't need one next year, because whatever Hamilton Princess did helps them out. You see what I did there, folks? Charity. Go ahead, Maya.
Well, today at 12:30 on the steps of City Hall, there will be a proclamation of the UN International Day of Persons with Disabilities, which is on December 3rd, but they're going to announce it today as they have a lot of things coming up just to be talking about, interacting the community with what it is to be a disabled person in Bermuda. So they're going to have the proclamation today, and then tomorrow they have Giving Tuesday, which is when you could actually help support a disability-related organization. You could donate or volunteer.
I know we speak about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it's usually about race and gender and sexuality. But something that's always concerned me about Bermuda is people with disabilities, because it didn't hit me until I worked in Bermuda tourism that I realized Bermuda really isn't
accessible.
It's not. And we don't have a ADA Act, the American Disability Act, right? And I would find ways to say, you know what, Bermuda just isn't big enough. But truthfully, there are ways to make things a bit more accessible. So my hope is that we can become a more educated community when it comes to being a more able and accessible island for all.
Well, actually, that just reminds me of when I was in university, I actually did a story where in Halifax, the government actually had these funds where any business could try to apply for these funds to help make their own businesses just more accessible, whether that be getting ramps or different types of technology for people to actually be employed there who can use it, things like that. So that was something that they had as an initiative out there. And I thought that was quite innovative.
Nice. I like that. Wonderful. What else you got for us?
Well, in other news, tomorrow will be the second and final part of the Bermuda College Fall Lecture, Murder in Paradise, which will return. Again, that's going to be tomorrow, the 29th of November, 6 p.m. at the Bermuda College, and it will have a working document presentation that has the causes and solutions to the topic.
I will be tuned in. Obviously, I enjoyed the first one with the gentleman. It was
called Dre Hill and
Quentin Sherlock, Dr. Tyron Douglas, and the Honorable Judge Juan Wolf, right? So I'm interested in seeing tomorrow. Folks, tune in. I'd love to. We'll likely discuss it on Wednesday. What else you got for us, Maya?
Well, meanwhile, last week, St. David's and the Greater Island-wide community held their second out of 3 town hall meetings at the Clearwater Middle School. The meeting was led by the Concerned Citizens Group, and that group is like a bipartisan group of individuals who are concerned about the approved build and storage of a medical waste facility in St. David's.
Interesting. And what else? I know you got something juicy for us.
Well, in related news similar to the St. David's community, we have a story coming up about the Bermuda Fishermen's Association. Again, there are some proposed plans being put in place by the government, which obviously concerned citizens and as well as Bermuda fishermen have, definitely had the disagreements with. They say that the government has not actually been in communication with the Bermuda Fishermen's Association in relation to this Blue Prosperity Plan that they have put in place. They are still consulting on it, but here's a quick story on kind of like the full grasp and scope of what's going on.
And folks, Get your questions and comments ready, because the question coming up after the news break is, what can we learn from the fishermen threatening legal action against the government? All right.
The Fishermen's Association of Bermuda held a press conference in response to the government's Blue Ocean Prosperity Plan. According to Gov.bm, the plan outlines a pathway to growing Bermuda's ocean economy while protecting and restoring the island's ocean spaces. There are two separate strategies in this plan. The first, growing Bermuda's ocean-related industries and attracting investment opportunities. And the second, implementing sustainable ocean development, protection, and management. During the press conference, the Fishermen's Association says the government has had no desire to collaborate and work together for mutual benefit. The proposal for the Marine Spatial Plan is to designate at least 20% of Bermuda's waters as fully protected fisheries replenishment zones.
My name is Alan Bean. I am the chair of the Fishermen's Association of Bermuda and also the chair of the Commercial Fisheries Council. The Fishermen's Association have chosen to no longer be involved in the BOP initiative, until which time the full process is accurately designed.
The government proposed fully protected areas, highly protected areas, and managed areas. According to individuals at the press conference, the enclosed areas suggested will take away livelihood of the fishermen and also from other boating businesses in the area.
My name is Zeno Lamel. I operate an inshore business called Jump Them Guns. My livelihood is not made from the fish. My livelihood is made from tourists. Anybody in here knows me. I can vouch that I'm out there pretty steadily. Where you are closing off the inshore water, that's my business. Net guys, that's their business. You can't do, no, ain't happening. We're not the slaves of of all this. You're trying to tell me exactly. I release fish. People give me grief for letting go of a nice hogfish, bonefish, and all that stuff. You're not taking that away. No way in hell.
I'm Tom Watson. I've been around here for a little while. And we are finding ourselves struggling with DENR as well. Now, Junior just mentioned fish and potatoes. This could be the first year in the history of this country that they may not allow us to import seed potatoes to plant. I mean, think about that. We can hold that crop in here for profit. I'm still got Bermuda potatoes up my children. Mind you, the non-government one, which barely works. And we are here because we're struggling with the same government hand. We formed our association every now and again. There's several farmers out here in the crowd. But we are the primary food producers in Bermuda. We are food security. Yeah. And I'll tell you what else. It's about time we had some input on this thing, because I knew somebody was going to match up $3.2 million in a guaranteed failed venture called vertical farming. This crowd needs to get a grip. That's all I'm going to say. And we're behind you 100%, Fisherman.
The overall message was a call for the Bermuda government to listen to the Bermuda fishermen and sit down and work out their issues. If they do not get an invitation to sit down and talk, the Bermuda Fishermen Association will, quote, take the case to the people.
This government that is needs to come to the table and have a simple conversation, because your advisors are only getting their advice from us. Okay? So until they come to the table and sit up and talk to us, it's a waste of time.
Folks, your question coming up. What can we learn from the fishermen threatening legal action against the government? Maya, thank you for that coverage. That was awesome.
I will say,
go ahead.
Just to end it off, I will say that the ministry did release a press statement like immediately after that, and they stated that 4 local Bermudians were assigned to reach out to the fishing sector to facilitate surveys. Also, over 6 weeks, at least one outreach attempt was made to each of the 123 licensed commercial fishing vessel owners. That's 70% of the industry. Now, this number included 95% of full-time and 55% of part-time fishermen. In addition, a survey notification was included in the Department of Environmental and Natural Resources Fisheries newsletter sent out to registered fishers, basically stating that they did get some feedback from the commercial fishermen and the allotted number that they needed for their survey.
We're going to talk about it, folks. We will talk about it, because if it's not the fishermen, it's the teachers. If it's not the teachers, it's the bus drivers. If it's not the bus driver, you get my point. I can go on and on, but it's always someone about what can we learn from the fisherman situation. Maya, what's the weather looking like today?
The weather, I'm not going to look outside. The weather is looking cloudy and maybe a bit dry to start. And it's going to be a lot of wind, starting moderate, then probably ending up a bit stronger later in the day. And we have a high near 94 degrees Fahrenheit.
You said 94?
94.
Sorry, 74.
Oh, just going to say, where we
I was about
at?
to put my tint back on.
Yeah, right. What you got days of the year, Phil?
Oh, let's go. Today is actually Cyber Monday.
Oh,
so
right.
It is, right.
It is. So who doesn't love shopping? More and more people these days are switching from the hassle of going outside to shop in the busy and crowded stores to the convenience of online shopping, where mail trucks can deliver their goods right to their door. Cyber Monday was originally conceived by Ellen Davis, Senior Vice President of the National Retail Federation, and was first used in the e-commerce community during the 2005 holiday season. Became the biggest shopping day in the States in 2014 when online retailers earned over $2 billion in profits. Many other countries soon joined in Cyber Monday, and now profits collected on this day average almost $3.5 billion yearly. Yeah. So get your credit cards.
Mine are hidden. They don't even work anymore, folks. They lock. No, I'm serious, Mike. I locked them. Mine are locked, bro. I don't. Nope.
Look, give me. Here's a tip for everybody. Just get Amazon gift cards or iTunes gift cards.
I disagree. Get them People's Pharmacy gift cards.
Oh, get them People's Pharmacy.
Got them Medical House cards.
I think.
Yeah, you see what I did there?
Very well done. I'm sorry, sponsors. Get People's Pharmacy gift cards or get your gift cards from People's Pharmacy.
I stay getting People's Pharmacy gift cards. That's like my number one thing since I got more nieces and godsons.
Medical House has gift
People's
cards.
Pharmacy.
Yeah,
Linda's has gift cards.
You know what? For that, we're going to give away a Medical House gift card today, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll do a giveaway just because of that. Maya, we'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow.
All right, folks. Don't go anywhere. Thanks so much, Maya. If you appreciate, that's a good news break right there. Thank you to her for that story. Like I said, folks, as we're going to continue the conversation on what Maya reported on, please let us know what we can learn from the fishermen threatening legal action against the government. Stick with us after this break. We'll continue with that.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Philip Trout, I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, don't forget to sign up for membership. Just hit the join button underneath the video on YouTube to become an official member of our channel. We'll be doing some cool things that you want to be a part of, and some of you have already been a part of the things that we did this summer, where you actually got to hang out with us and do some things with some of our sponsors and partners. All right, let's get into it. You just saw the report by Maya. And I'm going to read a bit more from the Royal Gazette. So titled, Fishermen Threaten Legal Action to Stop Marine Conservation, not conversation, Conservation Plan. Angry fishermen have threatened the government with legal action over a sweeping marine conservation strategy they said was hatched in secret. So the government, as Maya said, they did release a statement that the fishermen allege it was secrecy. The government said it wasn't done in secrecy. I'll tell you what I found very disturbing. And I don't want to get away from this, but I just have to say this. It was very disturbing to see the Honorable Minister Walter Roban, and watch where I'm going, because it's not anything wrong. It's not black or white in my eyes, right? Sitting there with a white man to his side, right? Against the fishermen, who were a mix of people, black and white, but they're laborers, they're workers. But it's weird to me knowing how tactfully the PLP were in opposition to all things white, it seemed. And then we're now in a space where all of a sudden this white gentleman's voice is almost godly to you. No one else picked that up. And again, this is nothing against that gentleman. It's interesting how things shift. It's almost like, oh, the America's Cup was a bad thing until we got in power. You feel me? So I just want people to keep those things in the back of your head. But question we're going with right now is, what can we learn from the fishermen threatening legal action against the government? Let's go to Charles H. Jefferson II. He says, a survey, Maya said a survey was given. That's what the government said. And he says, that doesn't sound like a conversation to me. Well, those were my first thoughts. It seems like you're given a survey to get feedback to go and make your decision. Surveys are not conversational. We are not having a conversation with people. They're not real time, no?
Yeah. The thing with and the issue I have with a survey is that you can you design the questions, right? So if you don't ask the right questions, you're not going to get the people can't answer the people can't give the honest opinion. If it's something where you say submit your feedback or submit your data to our consultation or whatever the case, then somebody, they can provide data, they can provide documents, they can provide whatever. But a survey where you're asking specific questions, like that doesn't really, I can't speak on what I fully believe on the issue. I may not be able to based on the questions.
Yeah. No, that's a valid point, Phil. Like, especially if that survey is only, choices given to you, right? Yeah. I agree. Folks, what are your thoughts? What can we learn from the fishermen threatening legal action against the government of Bermuda? Karen Simmons says, why use a survey to get feedback? There is an association with persons who represent their membership. Is the legal action to stop the draft proposal going forward? So let's read a bit more of that. Well, let me answer your first question. If I'm not mistaken, on Bermuda Broadcasting's news, Mr. Roban did say that 2 persons from the association were on some committee, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, audience, but I believe that Mr. Roban said 2 persons from the association were involved. That's what I believe. But the question begs, were these 2 persons agreed by the association, or were they handpicked by government? There's so many more questions to that. Do they represent the interests of the association, or were they just picked from the association? It's like I was in a job previously, right? And they were creating this diversity, equity, and inclusion group. And of the 50 people, you probably had 2 black people on there. But the person chosen from my part, we had 7 people. I was the only black guy. You had one woman who was white and gay, and then you had a Latino woman, another white woman, two white women, and 1 white guy, right? I think that's 7 or 8. Long story short, they chose the young white girl to go and sit on the committee, right? Does she represent my interest? Yeah. I mean, again, some people...
That's not to say she's against your interest.
No, that's not to say she is.
But she may not have the nuanced understanding of the stuff that you see.
Correct. And that's it right there. Now, truth be told, same may apply for me with her.
Right.
So we need more questions, but let's go to the Fishermen Association has demanded a halt to the plans. It shared a lawyer's letter sent to the Ministry of Home Affairs on November 10th, threatening judicial review proceedings against the BOPP, which is the Bermuda Ocean Prosperity Program. Surrounded by 150 strong crowd, the association chairman, Alan Bean, called for a halt, followed by redrawing of conservation areas in full consultation with fishermen. All right, so that to answer your question, Karen. What can we learn from the fishermen threatening legal action against the government? Michael Daniels, what do you feel?
Michael Daniels says, it's important to have communication to be able to reach consensus, but a basic requirement is that both sides are talking the same language.
Oh, okay. One would think so, right?
Yeah.
If we're trying to get to a solution, yeah.
I'm just like everybody else, just trying to understand both sides of the argument right now. But if I guess the purpose of the whole protection from the government side is to protect the fish stocks and what have you. What in just discussion with guys I know that do fish, they said one of the things that they should focus on is these guys fishing off the rocks and fishing off the bridges and stuff, because they catch whatever. The thing could be 4 inches long and they take it and put it in the bucket. And they have to, the commercial guys, the guys that fish for a livelihood have to go and tell them, hey, throw that thing back. Like, stop, don't take the small one. So I think if we're in the interest of protecting the fish stocks, it was said to me, like, that's one of the areas that they should focus on.
Well, that would take me out, folks. You know me. I'd rather fish off the rocks than in a boat. But
you catch it, you throw it back. That's how I
don't throw them back. I ask somebody to take them off the line and throw them back for me.
Oh well, yeah, okay. As long as it gets thrown back. So.
Yeah, no, but I agree. I agree with you, Phil. And look, I'm not an environmentalist. I don't understand it from that perspective. But what I do know is that consultation is required. And what Michael Daniels said, both sides have to leave the conversation on the same wavelength. I feel like, to answer this question, what I learned from this, I just feel like government comes across bullish. You know what I'm saying? Like bullish sometimes, where, well, no, we gave a survey. Well, we had a couple people involved, so yeah, we did. And it seems like it's become the norm to act as if you're consulting or involving people. Just think of the situation with the schools, right?
That's what I was just thinking of.
It seems like your mind's already made up, but you just want to tick off some boxes. I get the frustration of people who are frustrated with it. I understand it. What can we learn from the fishermen threatening legal action against the government? Rosalind Famous says, did the 2 people from the association communicate with the others about what was going on? This is key, Rosalind. This is key. So there's a lot of questions about these 2 people. Were they handpicked by the government, or were they chosen by the association? Were these 2 people taking notes and minutes and giving, reporting back to the association? Does the association have regular meetings where they were responding and asking these 2 people to take information back to the government? Like, we need to know much more, because it's apparent that as an association, the association feels that, no, they were not involved. So who were these 2 people?
I think about my friends that are on various unions on the island. Sorry, not just the unions, but the union executive that goes and has negotiations. Like they have ongoing negotiations. They report back to the body and say, "This is what we came out. This is what came out of the last meeting," and the body has input. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if how if these consultations are being handled in that same fashion.
Yeah. It's interesting, man. It's got you thinking because, I always wondered when there was going to be a conversation about, Bermuda's waters and fishing and overfishing and all of that stuff, and how it would impact fishermen. I love going to the dock up there, just past Waterlock, going west and getting fish when I'm in Bermuda with my daddy, and it's like, you always wondered when that day was going to come for Bermuda, where they were going to talk about protection. I do think it's an important conversation to have, but I also understand, like, including the fishermen. Someone on Twitter last week was saying that it was said that fishermen are uneducated, and they said, hold up, these are some of the most intelligent people you can ever meet. I mean, folks, there's a science to it, knowing where to fish, knowing where to anchor, knowing what type of fish. Like, I remember going to the dock last year, Phil, brothers talking about, oh, this is such and such a, man, this ain't a dog breed, that's a fish to me. It's just understanding so many different things, and
I think
and it's so much to it.
That's when you denigrate someone's intelligence, and I'm not even sure if I'm using the word denigrate properly, but if you insult someone's intelligence just because I'm a school guy, right? I believe in going to school, higher education, but that does not, if you don't, that does not mean you're not intelligent. You know what I mean? Like, these guys fishermen are basically hunters. The hunters, the trackers, they have to track and find out where the fish are. So that's not, because I have gone out plenty times to go fishing and ain't caught nothing, right? So don't. And on top of that, they have to be the accountant. They have to be the engineer. Sometimes, like,
they have to upkeep a damn boat.
A boat, man. Don't do that.
A boat's not easy. Something happens to that boat, their livelihood. Weather. They have to understand the weather. The tides,
the meteorologist, bro.
So much to it. What can we learn from the fishermen threatening legal action against the government? Francine Paris says, have you heard the song Proud to be Bermudian, going fishing off the rocks? Leave those people alone. But seriously, I'm with the fishermen. Fight for the areas which bring livelihood to the average fisherman. What I want to say is what I did learn here in Florida from a colleague of mine is you need a license just to go fishing off the rocks. Like, if you go scalloping, like, you need a license for everything here. Bermudians have a lot of freedoms, to just go fishing off the rocks. Is it something that the fishermen would make it easier for them, like addressing people who are fishing for hobby versus people who are fishing for a living? Is that something that would we should look into? Charles H. Jeffers II says, we've learned that the extra steps are not willing to be taken to ensure that there is input and ultimate support from affected persons for this and other issues. That's it right there for me. I think we've come away with the government acting as if they're willing to listen and be inclusive, but minds seem already made up. Yes, I would agree. And interestingly enough, we'll have Madam Ellen Kate Horton on later this week. We'll be talking about the West End primary situation. Karen Simmons says, I feel like there's no understanding of what consultation means. The quote, the action or process of formally consulting or discussing, end quote. Government is telling and not seeking understanding from all sides. And Rosalind Famous says, and conservation education has to be for all members of the public if we really want to take conservation seriously. Folks, we'll wrap it up there. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to do a daily hour giveaway. We're going to give away what I said earlier.
Medical
house gift card. That's what we'll do. Yeah. See, you all didn't hold me to it. See, I would have forgot. One more quick comment from Sean Smith says, what I learned that the fishermen don't really have a vote on these two government boards, as they are 90% government departments. Well, that's something we need to look into. That's something we need to look into, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll do the giveaway after this as we wrap it up. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
Alrighty, folks. Folks, if you appreciated today's discussion and focus, please give us a thumbs up. It costs you nothing. Just hit that like button for us, and make sure you share these conversations. These are community conversations that are supposed to actually highlight the issues of the day and really discuss solutions to the problems that we encounter in our beautiful Bermuda. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0, Great Taste, No Alcohol, and Bermuda Trivia. Now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Also, thanks again to One Communications, People's Pharmacy, Lindos, and Medicals for ensuring we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. Phil, are you ready?
Let's go.
All right, it's holiday trivia today. Let's see what question we got for you. All right.
Stress.
Oh, it's music today. It's got a little music for you, Phil.
Okay.
Help him out,
Right.
folks. Help him out, folks. Help him out. Here we go. What Christmas carol contains the line, quote, "Born is the King of Israel"?
Oh, come, all ye faithful. That's not the one? No, that was last one.
Somebody got it.
Yeah, I see that. First Noel. Yeah, I saw it.
The first Noel.
All these things sound the same at the end sometimes, man. Until you get the words.
Yeah, hey man, Sherry wouldn't have got it. Don't worry about that, Phil. You know nothing more. Let's do the giveaway, folks. Hashtag for Medical House gift card this morning is going to be the Daily Hour. So hashtag the Daily Hour for your chance to win. We'll do it. Phil, let's wrap up this morning. What's your final thoughts on the discussion about tint and license plates, and then also the fisherman with the focus?
Well, the tint thing, I just think it should be the allowance of the tint. You should be able to have a good darker. What I was thinking about is actually maybe you don't have the dark tint on the windshield. Maybe it's just on the passenger window, the side windows. Maybe on the windshield you can't go as dark. Maybe that's the giveaway. But with the fisheries, like when I was teaching at Sands, like I got to understand when I was teaching science, I got to understand the importance of conservation, especially in the waters. Like it just made me understand more about how important it is. So I do support the conservation aspect of it, but we got to make sure that we're not impacting the wrong people. That's my main concern. That's all it is for me.
I got you. As far as the tint, I think there's a common ground, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think there are a lot of things to fight. We have to decide what's most important. For me personally, I don't agree with the speed limit a lot of times, but I also understand what my bank account looks like or doesn't. So we have to make those decisions. If you don't agree with a law, you fight to change it. That's where I come from. You fight to change it.
Yeah.
As far as the fishermen, I support. I say it all the time. I support their right to fight for their livelihood. And although I'm not as educated on the factors involved, I'm not. What I do understand and can relate to them with is that the way the government handles things has probably not been in the best interest of all parties all the time. So I would hope that the government, both sides can humble themselves, but the government in particular, and get back to a conversation that benefits not just the government and the fishermen, but the entire community. And through this, my hope is that we can have a larger conversation about conservation. Let's do the giveaway, Phil. Let's see what we got for a medical house gift card. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. It's Daily Hour. Here we go. Good luck, folks. All right, drum roll, please. Big money, big money, big money. No Sherry, no Whammy. See, Sherry just comes to mind, man.
See?
Oh, we can't give it to Maya.
No, that's
Maya, you can't. But
She
we're gonna
put
do it
herself
again.
in there?
Well, yeah, she did. Congratulations, Media Maya. But you know what? We're gonna give one. Maya deserves one anyway, because she's just Maya. So we're gonna do it again, folks. I know, because you always gonna say, "Oh, it was fixed. It was fixed. It was fixed." We're gonna do it again. Maya out here winning things, boy. Maya out here doing it, man. She's out here doing it. Laverne Tucker, congratulations to you,
Laverne Tucker, congratulations.
Maya out here breaking hearts, folks. Breaking hearts, folks. Phil, you got some. Laverne, don't forget, send an email to engage@thedailyhour.com to collect your gift card to Medical House. Folks, again, give us a love, a like. Make sure you share these conversations. They are of community interest. Phil, you got some daily inspiration to set everyone off?
Yeah. So here we go. This is by Ava DuVernay, the film director. I'm not going to continue knocking on that old door that doesn't open for me. I'm going to create my own door and walk through that. That's a daily inspiration.
I love it. Sometimes you just got to create your own. And thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we will be back to do this again with you tomorrow. He's Philip Trott. I'm Jamal Hartman. My friends, please do make it a safe and a great day.
Let's go, Ghana.